The Bachelor is one of the most popular reality shows in TV history. Originally debuting in March 2002, the show has had 29 seasons so far and led to multiple spin-offs, including The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, and The Golden Bachelor. Nowadays, even if you don't find love on a dating competition, you're likely to find clout. Many contestants have turned their Bachelor appearance into a full-time career, explaining how ABC always finds a handful of interesting and willing contestants. But the show has stricter casting rules than you might have thought. You must be 21-year-old at the time of application as well as legally single, and though divorced or widow applicants are allowed. Hopeful must also agree to undergo a background check and psychological evaluation, plus be available to foreign film for 6 to 9 weeks, during which time no phones or social media are allowed. But the most shocking casting rule concerns location. While Bachelor welcomes applicants from both the US and Canada, there is one Canadian province that is excluded: Quebec. Any applications from legal residents of Quebec are immediately rejected, even if the applicant is a Canadian citizen. When you consider the marginalization of the French Canadians, the Bachelor's infamy for lack of diversity, it makes this casting rule even more problematic. The Bachelor excludes Quebec. Why it is problematic? Let's talk about this. Quebec has a long history of being treated as an outsider in Canada. For decades, French Canadians have faced discrimination, from economic marginalization to exclusion. Even today, tensions over language and representation persist. The Bachelor's refusal to cast applicants from Quebec reinforces this marginalization. The Bachelor and its spin-offs have had no problem casting Canadian applicants from other provinces. Over 40 contestants in the franchise have originated from up north, including Gillian Harris, Jesse Palmer, and Kathleen Bristow. The Canadian contestants have come from a range of provinces from to British Columbia, Ontario to New Brunswick, yet none were from Quebec. Both French and Canadian English are Canada's official languages, and French is a mother tongue for 22% of the country's population. They are not isolated to Quebec, as French Canadian communities exist in various provinces. During the last season of The Bachelor, there was a Canadian contestant with a French name, Natalie Crepeau, who was eliminated in the first week. Though her surname is francophone, her inclusion showed The Bachelor is not averse to casting people with French roots, but for some reason, legal residency in Quebec isn't an issue. The Bachelor has a problem with diversity. Let's talk about this. It remains unclear why Quebec residents are excluded from casting, but it is not a good look for ABC, especially when The Bachelor has long had an issue with diversity. The franchise has faced criticism for its treatment of black contestants, leading to recent attempts at inclusivity. We are now seeing a similar pattern, this time in the form of linguistic discrimination against French Canadians. While some may speculate Quebec's stricter language and contestant laws play a role, these regulations only apply to reality shows being filmed in Quebec. The province has a huge television industry in the French language, but The Bachelor is filmed in the US, so these restrictions would not apply to Cuban residents who want to compete. Language should not be a barrier. While it is reasonable to expect The Bachelor requires applicants to speak fluent English, since it is the language the show is filmed in. That is not a problem in Quebec. 51% of the province population speaks English. A lack of English-speaking applicants can't explain why ABC continues to put a blanket ban on Quebec contestants. For now, it appears the Bachelor franchise has never formally addressed its exclusionary casting. If there is a legitimate reason for this policy, ABC should speak up and give contests. Otherwise, it looks like another example of the franchise shutting out marginalized communities and discriminating in its casting. If you like the video, go subscribe.